On May 17, the 1st Panzer Army of the Wehrmacht under Kleist struck the rear of the advancing units of the Red Army. Kleist's forces managed to breach the defenses of the 9th Army of the Southern Front on the very first day of the offensive and by May 23 cut off the Soviet troops' retreat routes to the east. S.K. Timoshenko reported what had happened in Moscow, asking for reinforcements. The newly appointed chief of the General Staff A.E.M. Vasilevsky proposed to withdraw the troops from the Barvenkovo salient, but Stalin did not grant permission for a retreat. By May 18, the situation had sharply deteriorated. Chief of the General Staff A.E.M. Vasilevsky once again proposed to halt the offensive and withdraw the 6th, 9th, and 57th Armies as well as the Army Group of General L.V. Babkin from the Barvenkovo salient. However, Timoshenko reported that the threat from the southern grouping of the Wehrmacht was exaggerated, and Stalin again refused to issue the order to withdraw the troops. Starting from May 25, desperate attempts began by the surrounded units of the Red Army to break out of the encirclement. The commander of the 1st Mountain Infantry Division of the Wehrmacht, part of the 49th Mountain Army Corps of the 17th Army. On May 26, the encircled units of the Red Army found themselves trapped in a small area near the ambush site of the village of Lozovenka. Attempts to break through the encirclement from the east were thwarted by the stubborn defense of the Germans with active support from the Air Force. The remnants of the 6th and 57th Armies, supported by a combined tank group of Major General Kuzmin, consisting of the remnants of the 5th Guards, 7th, 37th, 38th, and 43rd Tank Brigades, as well as the remnants of the 21st and 23rd Tank Corps, managed to break through to their own forces near the village of Chepel with heavy losses. On May 28, Marshal S.K. Timoshenko issued an order to cease the offensive operation, but efforts to rescue the surrounded units of the Red Army continued until May 31. Despite all the efforts of the Soviet troops, no more than 1/10 of the encircled managed to break out of the Barvenkovskaya trap. Soviet losses amounted to 270,000 people, of which 171,000 were irrecoverable. According to German data, the published source notes that these figures are believed to be greatly exaggerated. They captured 352,355 prisoners, and captured and destroyed 1,320 tanks, 2,648 artillery pieces of all types, and 557 aircraft. In the encirclement, the following were killed or went missing: Deputy Commander of the Southwestern Front Lieutenant General F.Y. Kostenko, Commander of the 6th Army Lieutenant General A.M. Gorodnyansky, Commander of the 57th Army Lieutenant General K.P. Podlas, Commander of the Army Group Major General L.V. Babkin, and several generals who commanded the divisions that were encircled. After the defeat, there were no repressive measures taken against the leadership of the southwestern direction, the leadership of the fronts and armies. The only one to suffer was I.K.H. Bagramian, who, on direct orders from Stalin, was removed from his positions as Chief of Staff of the main command of the southwestern direction and the southwestern front, and was then appointed with a demotion as Chief of Staff of the 28th Army. Regarding the other front commanders, Stalin in the same document only pointed out that the disaster they allowed was equivalent in its disastrous consequences to the disaster with Rennenkampf and Samsonov in East Prussia, and that if we informed the country in full about that disaster, with the loss of 18 to 20 divisions, which the front experienced and continues to experience, I am afraid that you would have been treated very harshly.